The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of Green Acres and our guests. These general gardening tips and suggestions may work for you, as well as those from alternative sources. When using any garden products or tools, read and follow all label directions. And learn how to make your yard summer strong at bewatersmart.info.
The Green Acres Garden Podcast is the podcast dedicated to helping gardeners hone their growing skills while we celebrate our love of plants. So whether you're new to growing or a seasoned gardener, you're sure to learn something new. Join the fun as we have conversations with world-class growers, passionate green thumbs, and professional garden experts from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Listen every week. We'll answer questions you didn't know you had. And away we grow. Hello there and welcome one and all to the show, all you beautiful gardeners and botanists out there. This is the Green Acres Garden Podcast, the home for people who just love plants and flowers and want to grow. I'm your host, Kevin Jordan, and I'm so excited. We've had some amazing guests lately, and the guest we have on today for this week, an amazing guest. We've had her on in the past. She's a master rosarian. She's a former garden journalist. I mean, a total garden queen of our region. I'm talking about none other than Debbie Arrington, and I got to sit down with her. We talked about everything from her love of growing citrus, roses, and camellias. It was an amazing time. I don't want to waste even a moment of her interview. So look, guess what, folks? We're diving straight into it. Let's do it right now. All right, so I'm here with our good friend, Debbie Arrington of Sacramento Digs Gardening, former journalist in the garden section. I used to love reading your articles, Debbie. How you been?
Very good, thank you.
Well, it's been about a year since we last checked in. I think the last time we talked, you were having this great program where you were aligning all these seasonal recipes with what's actually occurring in the garden throughout this year. I love it where the recipes of what we're actually harvesting are aligned, and I love that. How's that been going for you?
Very good. We run original recipes every Sunday on Sacramento Digs Gardening's website, and we compiled those recipes into 4 different e-cookbooks, and those are all seasonal. There's Taste Spring, Taste Summer, Taste Fall, Taste Winter, and we keep adding the new recipes that we put up online to those different cookbooks. And we have almost 400 original seasonal recipes now online, as well as our daily gardening advice and events.
I love it. Right now, I'd be eating lemon and orange soup with a dash of broccoli, some cauliflower, maybe some cabbage in there. I love it. How has your year been so far since I saw you?
Well, we've had a lot of rain, which is very good.
Yes, hoodalolly.
Yes.
We're out of drought, officially.
Yes, officially. All of the state of California is officially out of drought. We all have enough water. And in addition, we have a very nice snowpack in the Sierra right now, and that's our water reserve. So we are looking forward through a nice, normal garden year.
Same. I love it. It's nice to see that when that first rain came down, I was like cheering it on. And you know what I kind of got excited about recently? I had some ice on my windshield when I woke up this morning. So we're getting some proper cool weather. I love that. It just reminds me of childhood, going out there in the winter and kind of looking forward to that frost. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we need the chill hours. You know, the thing about fruit trees, and I have 7 different kinds of fruit trees in my garden, is that you need that balance of chill and warmth in order to get a good crop. And one of the determiners is having enough chill hours during the winter. And chill hours is time spent underneath 45 degrees. A lot of trees, though, particularly citrus trees, you don't want it too cold. So you want that chill, but you don't want that freeze. This is like lime trees. They're hardy down to 28 degrees, which is just a little bit below freezing. Other types of citrus, they might get down to 26 or 25 and still be okay. But they're still frost tender. But they need that time underneath 45 degrees in order to develop the sugars to make a sweet orange. So, you know, you've got to have that little bit of balance. And right now, knock on wood, we are there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been harvesting citrus out of the school garden. I mean, pounds and pounds of it. And just the kids are loving it. So huge harvest for us this year. You said you had 7 fruit trees.
Yes.
What are some of your favorites to grow here in Sacramento?
Well, speaking of the citrus, we have both a navel orange and a Valencia orange. So we have lots of fresh orange juice during the winter. plus as well as just oranges to munch. Then I have a cocktail grapefruit. And a cocktail grapefruit is a super dwarf. It's only about 5 foot tall and has more than 30 grapefruit on it right now. It's a cross between a Del Oro grapefruit, which is a large white grapefruit, and a mandarin. So it's a really unusual cross in that it has the look of a grapefruit on the outside, but you cut it open and it has orange flesh like a mandarin, and it smells like a grapefruit, but it tastes sweet like a mandarin. So you have that combination of grapefruit and mandarin together. It makes the best mimosa ever. It's really good. The one problem with it is that it has a gazillion seeds. I counted 40 seeds out of one that I cut open.
So are you using it for juice? Or
So I mostly use it for juice. If I do want to have it fresh, grapefruit slices or something like that, I pick out all the seeds. But it's very tasty and doesn't have any bitterness at all. I also have a Meyer lemon
Classic.
and a Eureka lemon. So I've got this nice little contingent of various citrus.
how would you describe the difference between the Eureka and the Meyer lemon?
Well, the Eureka lemon is not a true lemon; it's a cross, and it has a little bit of mandarin in its.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the Meyer lemon, right?
The Meyer lemon, yeah.
Okay.
The Meyer lemon, and so it has very smooth skin. That the skin, it's almost soft in that it's so smooth and silky to it, while a Eureka lemon has a much rougher skin. Also, the skin on a Eureka is a lot thicker. The juice in the Meyer, it's sweeter than the Eureka lemon. The Eureka lemon has more pucker power in it.
Good to know. Yeah, I always like hearing about these fruits and foods from like the standpoint of someone who's not just growing them, but who's also thinking about like the culinary aspect of
Yes.
it. Absolutely. And that's actually kind of what made the Meyer lemon so famous.
Yes.
Martha Stewart cranking
Yes.
those out. Like, hey,
Well,
these are juicy. Everyone got fired up.
They're very juicy. The thing about the Meyer lemon is it doesn't have as much acid as the Eureka. And so when you sub it in for recipes that require fresh lemon juice, it doesn't have enough acid. So when you're doing canning and stuff like that, it's really better to use the Eureka.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
Love it. If there was one fruit tree that someone's like, hey, I'm going to put like one fruit tree in my house or at my house, my garden, what is like one you think that is just like, if you're going to have one, you got to have this?
I think most people would take a Meyer lemon because lemons are very expensive.
It's shocking, especially once you grow them. You go, wait, these things grow like gangbusters.
Yes, and we have a perfect climate in California, and you do in Texas also, to grow lemons and to grow citrus. We have just the right enough amount of heat, and we have the right amount of cold. Because the thing is, with your citrus is they not only need that little kiss of cold during the winter, but they need hot days during the summer. And that's what really drives the plant is that heat in the summer. And they also need enough water, to make it all work. But they're actually a water-wise plant because once they put down roots, they can get by with twice monthly irrigation. Lemons, most citrus are very cyclical, where they'll have a good year, bad year on crops. The lemons, on the other hand, they will set at any time. They aren't restricted to just one window of set. Because most of your oranges, they'll have to set in March or April. Lemons can set at any time. They'll bloom at any time and they'll set at any time. As long as there's enough warmth out there and the bees are doing their thing, they'll set. So there's a lot more possibility of having fruit, which is
walking
good.
out there and being able to
and
harvest.
just running out and getting there. And the thing about lemons is you don't necessarily need a lot of lemons to do something. Having just a few on the tree is probably enough to supply enough for your household. So it's a useful tree as well as something that's also very pretty. It has really nice green glossy foliage, beautiful white blossoms with a nice honey-like scent to them.
Love that fragrance.
Bees love them. They're very pollinator friendly. So you're doing something for your wildlife as well as doing something for yourself. And then it has this pretty fruit that's when it ripens, is this beautiful bright yellow color, and it hangs on the plant for weeks, if not months. The best place to keep your lemons before you pick them is on the plant, because they'll stay better on the plant than they will in your refrigerator. So having a backyard lemon tree It's very useful, and it's right there when you're ready for it.
I love it. Can we talk camellias a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Sacramento has this affinity, this connection, a weird love affair with camellias.
Well, we're the Camellia City.
There we go.
I mean, that's it. And we have been the Camellia City officially since the 1920s. So, we're more than 100 years is officially the Camellia City. And how it all happened was kind of accidental. Camellias, and the camellias, when we think of camellias, people think of what they refer to as like the winter rose, because a lot of camellias have sort of a rose form and pink colors, sort of like a rose.
That's what I think of.
Yeah,
for sure.
And they bloom during the winter when few other things are blooming. The first camellias that bloom are the ones that are blooming before Christmas, and those are Saskwana.
The Sasanquas, I love those
yes.
too.
And they're nicknamed Christmas camellias because that's around the time that they're blooming. But most of the camellias that people see blooming in the late winter, early spring are japonicas. And those are camellias. Japonica means, from Japan.
Yeah.
But they were originally actually from China, just the Japanese happened to grow them out. Because camellias are native to the hill regions of China. And one of the camellia's close relative, another camellia, is a plant that is used to make tea.
The sinensis.
Yes, to make black tea and green tea. And during the gold rush, there were thousands and thousands of Chinese railroad workers and miners here.
Thankfully.
In the Sacramento area. And nurserymen here in Sacramento, around about 1850, thought, we're on the same latitude as China here in Northern California. I bet tea plants would grow really well in Sacramento. And we have all these Chinese people here. They would love if we would if they had fresh tea. And so he ordered 1,000 camellia plants from a nursery in China to send here to Sacramento. And so he got 1,000 camellia plants, but they were not the tea plants. They were Camellia japonicas.
The flowering, the beautiful ornamentals.
The flowering ornamental camellias. Yeah, and so when he got them here, he realized they were the wrong tea plants. But he couldn't send them back to China, so he had to do something with them. And he thought, these are really pretty flowers, and they're growing really well here in Sacramento. Why don't I start a campaign that every yard in Sacramento should have a camellia plant out front as sort of its own little symbol of civic pride? And he went on a camellia campaign and got camellias planted all over town. And people told their relatives back east, we have these beautiful flowering plants here in the dead of winter. They're absolutely gorgeous. If they could have taken a photo, they would have, but instead they just wrote about it and told their relatives back east. And that's how camellia craziness got started here in Sacramento.
But I'm so thankful, if only for just a mistake or, translation.
It all started by a mistake. Now, it took, a couple of generations before that civic pride took hold to where we had a camellia festival here in Sacramento. And that was actually spurred by the folks down in Pasadena were having the Tournament of Roses. And the Tournament of Roses down in Pasadena was started in the late 1800s as a way to build tourism for Southern California. And it was, here we have roses that bloom in the winter. Don't you want to be here instead of being back in Michigan or New Jersey or wherever, where there's snow on the ground? Here in Southern California, you can have all these beautiful flowers and we can do all these displays. Well, folks up here in Sacramento says, well, we can top that. And they started their own camellia festival.
Clever.
And so they got into all this camellia stuff. And we had a camellia ball and a camellia festival and a camellia parade and a camellia football game, all this sort of stuff. To this day, we still have a camellia festival.
I went last year.
It's our camellia show.
Yeah.
And it's going to have, this spring, it's going to be the 102nd camellia show.
Wow.
And it's going to be at the Scottish Rite Center over on H Street. And it's always the first weekend in March. So March 7th and 8th, the Camellia Society of Sacramento will host its annual show. And they expect thousands of blooms. It's always a huge to-do with table after table of beautiful flowers.
Well, when we started, you mentioned the camellias, the japonicas, and just looking at that, kind of what we think about. When I was there, I saw some camellias I've never even seen before. Like some of the blossoms there, to me, they looked so unique, and some of them were different colors. Some had a higher petal count, and some of them were so beautiful. I mean, you'd swear some of them were fake.
Oh, they're incredible.
Yeah,
they're incredible flowers, and they have several that are reticulata, that are the bigger ones, and bigger I mean like almost dinner plate size, 7 inches across easily, and they have really large stamens in the middle, so like this whole little golden pom-pom in the middle of the flower, and then these beautiful petals. In the camellias, they tend to be in the pink family. So they range from pure white to kind of a dark red.
Very much Valentine's Day themed.
Yes, that sort of white to red scope. There are also yellow camellias, and those are rare varieties, and they tend to be smaller flowers. But otherwise, it's the white to red. They last on the plant for a very, very long time. Off the plant, not so long.
I noticed that as a kid. I cut some and was like, oh, this does not last as long as I would like in a vase compared to like a rose. So you have to kind of just enjoy them while you have them.
Well, they're a wonderful plant in the yard. And another thing about them is they're a very drought-tolerant shrub. Once they put down roots, they'll last for decades, no matter if it's a wet year or a dry year. So they're very resilient and can stand up to climate change.
What are maybe some of the do's and don'ts for someone who's listening who might be kind of new to it, who kind of saw them at the nursery and was like, wow, I do want to have that on my porch or at my house because that is gorgeous?
Well, they're a shade plant, but they need a little bit of sun. If you want them to bloom, they need to have at least 2-3 hours of sun. But not in the afternoon. They need they need morning sun, and because morning sun is less intense than afternoon sun.
The angle's a little lower.
Yeah, it's the angle. Yeah, and it gives them what they need. It cues them with its warmth as well as the length of days, because those are the things that are going to trigger the bloom. They don't like to be moved. So once they get a place that they like to stay there. So instead of moving the plant around to different places in the yard, it's better to move it in a pot and find where it wants to be first, and then put it in the ground there, instead of putting it in the ground first and then discovering that you chose the wrong spot.
That's good advice.
Yeah. And they grow excellently in containers. They can stay in containers for years and just be happy and bloom away, and stuff like that. So.
Which is nice, because I think some people maybe aren't in their forever home, and they're like,
yes,
dude,
exactly.
I do want to start my collection, but I want to be able to take it with me when I do set down roots.
And they're naturally compact. And if you have them in a container, they stay compact because the roots are restricted.
That's good.
The one other thing about camellias I should mention is that they're an acid-loving plant. And so they play really well with pine trees and redwoods and cedars and other evergreens, because it's a natural combination that they would have in the forest.
Living in the understory of the larger canopy.
Yes,
they're dropping needles that are acidic.
Yes, they're an understory plant. So that's a perfect combination. If you have some evergreens and you want to have some color underneath them in the spring, and it makes you smile on a February day. It's a perfect Valentine plant because it's coming into bloom right around Valentine's Day. So it makes a good gift plant, as well as something that will trigger that automatic memory.
You read my mind. I'm like, hey, don't give a bouquet. Probably some bouquets are so expensive. You could probably go out and get a living camellia, like a 1 gallon, 5 gallon, whatever.
Definitely, yeah.
For probably less than some of those bouquets.
You got that.
And now it's alive, and you've got something.
Well, and it will bloom year after year and bring back those memories.
I love it. Well, can we kind of move into roses a little bit? Because even though I know roses they're more of a spring summer plant, there's so much to be kind of done with them right now. And I know you're kind of tied in with the rose
This is
folks
the intense rose season. I'm a master rosarian and former president of the Sacramento Rose Society. And chairman of our 2026 Rose Show. So yes, I am.
And a competitor as well, I imagine.
Yes, I won Queen of Show last year, so yes.
Right on.
I'm the defending champion.
What was the rose that did it for you?
Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a white rose?
No, it's apricot.
Apricot.
Yeah, it's very light shade of golden apricot, and it looks almost like tan skin. So it's voluptuous. And that's why the breeder, Tom Caruth, named it Marilyn Monroe, is that it reminded him of like her voluptuous shoulder.
Can we work our way back from that?
Yes.
From being a champion to now in the wintertime? What are we doing in our garden if we want to grow like a champ?
Yes, and that's an excellent question, because now is the time to lay that groundwork to get the best roses in the spring. And how do we do that? We do that by pruning. And this is our time to show some TLC to our gardens by taking care of all the problems that we have been ignoring for months. The thing about roses is that most of the year they are covered with foliage that is hiding their flaws and hiding their soft spots or their weak spots or areas that you need to clean up and take care of. In winter, they usually drop their leaves in climates that are cold enough for them to drop. And that's one reason we need cold too, is because if you have no cold dormancy, the rose just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Mine are just now finally starting to kind of go into dormancy.
And because we had such a...
They were blooming a few weeks ago. I still have blossoms.
Yes, I have some too. And it was such a warm winter, they just kept producing. Down in Southern California, they will not drop their leaves. And so you just have to, decide to prune and just do it. Here in Northern California, we wait until they start showing some signs of dormancy, which is dropping their leaves. And then we get a good look at the plant and how it's actually growing. The best way, the healthiest, roses are ones that have good air circulation going through the plant. And what happens is often roses will grow a lot of canes that cross in the middle, and it creates these areas where it holds too much humidity or too much dryness, one way or the other. When it's too much humidity, you get a bunch of fungal diseases. When it's too much dryness, you get attacked by spider mites. But whatever, you're creating a bad area in the middle of the rose where there's no air circulation. You want the rose to grow out, not in. And so when you have all the leaves off of it, you can see where those crossing canes are, eliminate those crossing canes, and encourage the rose to grow out instead of in. Also, when it's growing out, it has more freedom to grow, to produce more flowers. When they're crossing canes, the canes rub against each other and they wound themselves. And
creates an opportunity for
for
infection.
pests to invade, and you're just creating problems. Now, the theory in pruning roses is that you're setting the rose up for success in the following spring. Roses take generally about 6 to 8 weeks after they're pruned to start blooming. So, you're looking at that timeline also about if you're trying to prune for a specific date where you want that rose to be blooming on a specific day, you look at the calendar also about when you're making those cuts.
Is right now the time to start pruning our roses?
Right now, or started last week actually.
Yeah.
You want to get them done. And part of that in Sacramento is because they have the claw season where you can put the green waste out in the street and they'll pick it up for you.
You got to time it with the green waste.
You got to time it, so you can get your pickup.
And we've had sunny weather, so it's just been nice to be out in the garden.
Yes. We had so much fog, which made it miserable. And then we had so much rain, which made it miserable. And then it was really soggy out in the garden. You didn't want to be walking around, compacting the dirt. So now we finally have good sunny weather during the day where you can get out there and get it done. So you're resetting the clock on the plant so it will start over and start producing new canes and new growth. Ideally, you want the plant to produce new canes because new canes have the best and biggest blooms. And the reason you're growing the rose is because you want flowers. Now, it takes from the time a cane first appears to the time that it gets really gray and woody is about 7 years, And so you're trying to promote the rose to reinvent itself every 7 years, basically, by your selective use of canes. Ideally, you want at least 3 canes. It's even better if you have 7 or more, because those are, and you want to prune the rose so it looks like a hand with your fingers outstretched holding a ball. So imagine if you had a ball.
That center is still open and clear.
So the center is open, the canes are radiating out, in different directions, and able to have room to grow. How short should you prune it? People used to prune their roses down to the ground. In areas where there's a lot of snow, they still prune them short. Or they'd say prune them, 6 inches tall or a foot tall. Now the idea is that you want it to be knee to hip height, because roses are going to grow to a certain height. And the shorter you cut them, the more energy the rose is going to put into getting back to that height before it puts out a flower. So you have a hybrid tea that wants to be 3 to 5 feet tall. Well, prune it to about hip height, which is about 3 feet. It has less work to get up to that 4 to 5 feet because it's already there. If you pruned it all the way down to a foot tall, it would have to spend all that energy growing back to 3 feet before it would even think about putting out a rose. So by pruning taller, at least knee high to hip high, you're saving that rose a lot of work. And you're also saving your back while you're pruning them.
That's awesome. Debbie, thank you so much. I know we could talk and talk and talk. I honestly feel like we could just chat forever. We'll definitely have to have you back on as soon as possible. Please let the good people know where to find you. How can they contact you and support the work you do?
Well, Sacramento Digs Gardening is available to anyone who wants to sign up. It's available online at the californialocal.com website. Just go ahead and Google Sacramento Digs Gardening, hit the link. We have a daily e-newsletter that comes straight to your mailbox. Just sign up at the little form that's in the upper right-hand corner and then verify your email, and you'll get it every day about 4:10 in your email box.
I love it. And Sacramento Digs Gardening is also a Facebook page as well.
Yes.
I love seeing your posts. It gets me motivated, and it always puts a smile on my face to see you out there doing good stuff.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Debbie Arrington. I would say Sacramento Garden Royalty. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's official. Queen Debbie Arrington. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And we're back. Thank you so much to our guest, Debbie Arrington, for an amazing interview. I loved every moment of it. Oh my gosh. It's always fun to share your love and passion for growing plants and then also learn something at the same time. That's a good day for me. So for all you green thumbs out there, I'm wishing you an amazing week as well. Please get out in that garden, prune those roses, consider planting some citrus, and maybe even a few roses out in your garden. Do it Debbie Arrington style. If you want to learn more and stay caught up with Debbie, you can check her out at Sacramento Digs Gardening. There's so much fun there. I mean, the ingredient list, the recipes, so much to learn from. I love it. So thank you again to Debbie Arrington. And of course, thank you so much to all you wonderful, beautiful gardeners out there for tuning in every week. We love it. Please come back next week for another great episode. Until then, we'll see you next time, friends. Happy gardening to you all, and please never stop growing.